So XDefiant is just around the corner. We're only about 3 or 4 days away now, which is honestly pretty insane to say after how long we've all been waiting for this game. And today I wanted to actually do a ranking of all of the base weapons in the game. I believe there is either 22 or 24 weapons, I can't really remember, but I'm going to be ranking them all essentially from best to worst, not only for a bit of fun and a bit of like an opinionated video, but also you guys can use this as a guide, seeing as the game is only just a few days away, and hopefully, provided my opinions are at least somewhat realistic, you guys can sort of see which are some of the best weapons you want to be using early and which are some of the weapons you probably want to avoid. So without wasting any time, we're going to jump right into it. Now it says on this tier maker that the dude made a mistake. He put the M60 as the M80. So he's actually put a tier here called put M80 error here. So we're going to get rid of that. That is obviously just the M60. And that should leave us with, I believe, every gun in the game. I thought there was 24 and this list has 22. So if we are missing some weapons, be sure to leave a comment down below. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. Maybe one of the DMRs or something feels like it's missing, but yeah, I'm not too sure. Obviously off by heart, I can't remember 24 weapons in a game that I technically have not even played yet. So let's get stuck right into it. There is also a tier that says have not used. I'm going to get rid of those straight away. I think there's only a couple that I haven't used across all 3 of the playtests. I think this one, I want to say that's like a semi-automatic rifle, but I could be wrong. I don't think I've used that though. I haven't used the SVD either. And then looking at the rest of these, I think I have used them. I'll be honest with the LMGs, I haven't barely used them, but I have used them. So I can kind of weigh in a little bit there with my opinion. Now, I'm going to start from the top, at least from the ones that I know, or at least I feel are good, and then work my way down from there. And then at the end, we'll sort of readjust and see how it goes. And any guns that I've got a bit of gameplay to, I'll try and show some gameplay so you're not just staring at my ugly head the whole time. So from the previous playtest, I'm going to mostly base it off the previous one, but also just kind of the weapons that I didn't use as much in the previous playtest, I'll kind of use the previous ones before that to guess where they would go. But realistically, the most recent one in April is the most realistic because that is the most recent version of the game. The MP7 for me was dominant in that playtest. I feel like I was dying to it a lot, and when I started using it, because I was mostly using assault rifles, and my god, as soon as I switched to this thing, I think I had a game where I went 43 and 11, which I had been kind of struggling in this playtest. I was a little bit rusty. I haven't really been playing shooters as much recently, so I was kind of rusty, and then I switched to this thing and just had a pretty monster game for my standards anyway. And so I think I'd rank the MP7 as #1 right now. Again, keep in mind, like once the game launches, this will probably be drastically different, but from the most recent playtest, that is definitely how it felt. Now, I kind of want to put the P90 next as well. I feel like that played really well in the extra. Obviously, the game has a slightly longer time to kill, and we all know that the P90 has got a 50 round magazine, so that really helped, and I feel like those two for me were definitely the standouts in the most recent playtest. I then think I want to put the M16, which is a very big change up when I'm talking about how the SMGs were kind of dominant, but then the M16 could not be more different than an SMG. But that thing, I had some very good games with that, and even in the old playtest as well, that thing slaps if you can hit your shots, which usually, to be fair, I'm not doing that often, but I definitely had a few good games with the M16 in the most recent one. I'd also say, and this is more based on overall from June last year until April this year, the AK, that has probably been overall, like if we're judging this on just overall, I'd probably have that as my #1. But I think these two definitely in the last one, they've definitely buffed the SMGs a little bit. So I'm going to put the AK there, but it honestly could go here. We'll play around at the end. Now I think from there, I want to put the Vector, but this one's kind of hit and miss because it does depend on the map. If you've got long lines of sight, this thing can struggle a little bit, but in its element, the Vector seemed to pretty much dominate because obviously the high rate of fire, pretty much any game that the Vector is in those situations, it's probably one of the best up close weapons. So I think the Vector goes there. I think the ACR as well would probably go here. I'm not too sure if it's more B tier than A tier, to be honest, but we'll put it there for now. I definitely love the ACR. It just feels good. I don't know if it's actually a good weapon or if I just like the way that it feels. It's very sort of punchy and just feels fun to use. Now, after that, and this one's a bit of a hot take, and it's also a little bit more subjective whether you like sniping or not, but the M44, that thing's fun as hell. More so in the previous playtests than the most recent one. I definitely use that a lot, but sniping in this game is very viable. It does feel like sort of old school Call of Duty sniping, where it was definitely you know, if you play your cards right, you can do very well doing it, but it's also got that high risk element of if you miss your first shot, you're pretty much dead on the spot. So not too sure that'll stay B tier, but again, it's more so if you're a good sniper, and I feel like I used to be a good sniper, whether I still am in a game like this. I think I'm still a good sniper in like Battlefield or Warzone, sort of like the slower games, but I'm getting old, boys. I'm 28 now, and I feel like my reaction speed has gone downhill a little bit. So I don't know if it actually probably deserves to be here or here. I'll have to see when the game actually launches, but if you can snipe the M44, and to be honest, the TAC 50, they're definitely very good. I think I'll put the TAC 50 here for now, but realistically, that's just because I didn't enjoy it as much as the M44. They're realistically pretty similar at the end of the day. Snipers are all fairly similar, really. Now, I'm probably going to put the MP5 here. Now that I look at it, I think the ACR goes down here as well. MP5 felt okay. It felt the worst out of all the SMGs, and yeah, the other three are up here, so that kind of makes sense to me. I think the MP5 with good attachments on it would feel good, but I think I was just running the wrong stuff in the most recent playtest, so it didn't feel as good as I would like. Usually the MP5 seems to always do pretty decent in shooters, but yeah, it's kind of more, it felt a bit more mid-tier in the most recent playtest. I'm gonna probably then put the M4 here, but honestly, could almost go there too. I don't know, this thing just felt really weak to me. Again, it could have been to do with attachments. I want to reiterate, this whole list could be just wildly wrong. Like, it could be so far out of touch, because obviously it depends on the attachments you're using. Maybe I just had a bad game in the M4 and just thought it sucked. I don't know. So just keep all of that in mind. This is not like the definitive list. This is just my thoughts on it, but it just felt weak, and it didn't feel bad, as in like, it's still B tier here. Or to be honest, I might put it C tier. I don't know. Looking at the rest of these weapons though, nah, it's definitely better than a lot of these. So I don't know. The M4, I want to like it. The M4 is one of my favorite weapons in any shooter, but it just, I don't know. There was something a bit weird about it when in the previous playtest, I did feel it was actually one of the best weapons. So again, I don't know if my attachments were wrong or something, but didn't love it as much in the April playtest. Now, to make this a little bit easier, I feel like I want to do the pistols next. And obviously, like, you can't be putting a pistol like up here. I just feel like pistols are just not as good. So I'm going to put them all in the D tier, because none of them are F. They're not bad. Like, they're all very viable. But I think I'm going to rank them in the D tier and just rank them in order of best to worst. So we've got the M1911 as well. We've also got the Deagle and the Magnum. It's actually kind of mad there's 5 freaking pistols in this game. In terms of what is the best, I want to say the 93R. That's the burst one, I'm fairly sure, and that's obviously pretty decent. In fact, that may go up here actually. But as for the rest of them, I think the Deagle and the Magnum, it's hard to tell, because like, if you hit your shots, they're arguably better than that. But I don't know. I'm not too sure about the pistols. They're very hard to rank. I think I'll just leave it like that for now, and we'll come back and check it at the end. But pretty much all we've got now is shotguns and LMGs, which I'm not a shotgun or LMG guy. That's literally why these are left, because I don't know where to put these, to be honest. I think the RPK felt okay, so I'm gonna put that in C, but yeah, I'm not sure that feels right, to be honest. The M60 had got it is freaking recoil was mental. I genuinely want to put that below the pistols. Keep in mind though, like, obviously I would prefer to use an M60 than a freaking Deagle. So even though I've got that below them, that doesn't mean I think it's worse than them. It's just that you got to kind of account for the fact that a pistol is a pistol. It's a secondary weapon, and it's kind of boring to just put them all dead last, because that would be obvious. So I'm kind of giving the pistols a bit of a benefit of the doubt, considering they're all secondary weapons. So I think the M60 goes there. The M249, I mean, I don't know. I actually feel like the M60 could go in the F tier. Again, keep in mind, I'm not an LMG guy. I don't really like the sluggish movement. So not too sure about these two. I feel like the M249 had less recoil. The M60 obviously slaps, and like in any game, if you hit your shots with the M60, it's doing well. But yeah, I'm honestly not too sure about these two. The M870, and I'm not a shotgun guy, but I actually rated that. I picked it up a few times. I never actually used it as my primary weapon, but I picked it up a few times and had it as a secondary weapon, and my god, it actually slaps. Now that I look at this, are we missing? There's like the auto shotgun. So I think I was right. I'm pretty sure there's 24 weapons, and yet this list only has got 22. So I think we're missing one. I think there is that automatic shotgun. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Could just be making that up. I'm not too sure, but not really much I can do about that, unfortunately. As for the double barrel, I'm going to have to put that dead last just because I'm not very good with shotguns. And if you miss your shots with a double barrel shotgun, you're dead on the spot. So yeah, I think that came in dead last for me. I think I'm fairly happy with this list. I feel like it needs a little bit of refinement. I genuinely think the M16 is S tier. I think people are going to sleep on that weapon because burst weapons in an arcade shooter often aren't that good, but I don't know, that thing, I had some of my best games with that, so I'm going to put that up in the S tier. I think I might then put the ACR up here as well. And then honestly, for the rest of this, I think I'm actually pretty happy. I don't know if the LMGs are F tier though. That's the thing. So, and technically they're better than the pistols. So what I might do, I think if I think you can genuinely run a Deagle and a Magnum, and like if you're hitting headshots with those, you literally may as well be using a sniper. So I think I'll put them above it, but I do think both of these are probably better than those two pistols. The only weapon I think is legitimately F tier is the double barrel shotgun, but also like I've seen people just dominate with that thing, so I think that's more to do with me being absolute arse with shotguns, to be honest. But yeah, I think I'm actually pretty happy with this list. Definitely happy with the top 3. I think realistically, I think these next 6 here can kind of be interchangeable, and I don't know whether they're A tier or B tier. I do feel like the MP5, I don't know, depends on the attachments, but yeah, I think I'm actually pretty happy with this list overall. So that right there is my ranking of the launch weapons in XDefiant. Like I said, I think we are missing, I think 2. I think there's the auto shotgun, and there might be like another DMR or something else. I feel like we're definitely missing another one. Can't be a pistol because there's freaking 5 in here already. Why do we need 5 pistols in the game? But let me know in the comments if we are missing. I could have sworn there's an auto shotgun, but maybe I'm just tripping. And I know that the amount of weapons is an even number. So if there's not 23 weapons, and so if we're missing the shotgun, we're also missing something else, which might be, I want to say it's like yeah, some sort of DMR. I could be thinking of this though. I don't even know what weapon that is, to be honest. So anyway, leave a comment down below, and also leave a comment letting me know if you completely disagree with this, because like I said, this is just kind of it's a very raw opinion, because it's hard to judge off of 3 betas what is actually the best weapon, and they also massively changed. I wouldn't have had these 2 up there in the previous 2 playtests, but then that April playtest was pretty damn insane when it came to those 2. So leave your thoughts down below. Be sure to leave your own rankings as well, and I might eventually, maybe after maybe at the start of season 1, I'll sort of revisit this after I've played. By then in 6 weeks I'll probably have clocked, I don't know, close to 50 hours or something like that. So I will revisit this at some point, but that is going to do it for, I guess, the pre-launch weapon ranking. So thank you guys very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there in the arena.